You ever stare at a spreadsheet full of numbers and your eyes just glaze over? Well, today we're going to talk about a beautifully simple tool that can turn all that data noise into a really clear story. We're talking about the histogram, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to use one to find the hidden secrets in your own data.
Okay, so look at this. Let's imagine these are customer wait times in minutes at your favorite local coffee shop. I mean, it's just a wall of numbers, right? Some are short, some are long. It's messy, confusing, and honestly, it's not telling us a thing by itself.
So the big question is, what do you do with this? How on earth do you find the pattern, the rhythm, the actual story that's buried in this jumble? Is the coffee shop running smoothly? Is there a problem brewing? Right now, just looking at this, you have no idea.
And that right there, that's the whole problem we're trying to solve. This mess of numbers shows us that raw data, all by itself, is pretty much just noise. To get any real insight, we need a way to see it, to organize it visually. And that's where our hero comes in. The visual key that unlocks the story is the histogram. Trust me, it's a fundamental quality tool for a very good reason, and it's exactly what we need to make sense of all this chaos.
So what is it really? Well, think of a histogram as a chart that shows you how often different values pop up in your data. It takes continuous information, like our wait times, and groups it into these little buckets or ranges that we call bins. And fun fact, it's actually one of the original 7 basic quality tools, which were made famous by Kaoru Ishikawa as a super simple way for pretty much anyone to help improve quality.
Now here's a super important point. Do not confuse this with a bar chart. They might look similar, but they are totally different. See how a histogram's bars are all touching? That's because it's showing a continuous range of data, like time or temperature. A bar chart has gaps between the bars because it's comparing separate, distinct categories, like, say, the sales of cars, boats, and planes.
Okay, so now we know what it is. And here comes the fun part. We get to decode the data shape. We're going to see how to build one, and more importantly, how to actually read the story it's telling us.
First, though, a quick rule of thumb. To get a picture you can actually trust, you need enough data. The magic number people usually recommend is at least 50 data points. If you have any less, the shape you see might be a little wonky. It could be misleading.
And making one is actually surprisingly simple. First, you gather your data, like our coffee shop wait times. Then you decide on your bins. Those are just the ranges, right? Like 0 to 2 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes, and you get the idea. After that, you just count them up. How many data points fall into each bin? And boom, you plot those counts as bars. That's it.
Now, once you plot your data, it takes on a shape. And believe me, every shape tells a story. A classic bell curve usually means you have a stable, predictable process. A skewed shape might point to a problem. But for our coffee shop puzzle, the most revealing shape is the bimodal one. You know, the one with 2 peaks?
And there it is. That's our answer. A bimodal, or 2-peaked histogram, is like a giant flashing red light. It's practically screaming at you that you've probably mixed data from 2 different sources. So for our coffee shop, what could that mean? Well, it could mean you have 2 different baristas. One is a seasoned pro cranking out drinks super fast. That creates the first peak of short wait times. And the other is a new trainee who's a little slower, and that creates the second peak of longer wait times. We just uncovered the hidden story. So, finding the story about the 2 baristas is pretty cool, right? But this is where the histogram goes from being just an interesting chart to a powerful tool for action. It's not just about finding problems. It's about driving real, actual improvements. You know, in quality management, this thing is a strategic weapon. It shows you the whole spread of your data. Are all customers waiting around 5 minutes, or is it totally all over the place? It helps you spot weird variations, like our 2 barista problem, and it even helps you see if your process is capable of meeting your goals. That's why it's a cornerstone of big methodologies like Six Sigma. It replaces guesswork with solid evidence.
And this isn't just theory, it's used everywhere. In a factory, engineers use histograms to make sure every part coming off the line meets the exact right dimensions. In service industries, they use them to analyze call center wait times, and in healthcare, you'll find them being used to understand patient wait times in an emergency room. It is incredibly versatile.
But look, no tool is perfect, and to use the histogram effectively, it's really important to understand both its incredible power and its limitations.
Its biggest strengths, by far, are its simplicity and its clarity. You really don't need a PhD in statistics to make one or understand one.
and it just instantly makes hidden patterns pop out in a way that staring at a table of numbers never, ever could. But there are a few things you have to watch out for. The shape of the chart can actually change a lot depending on how you set up your bins, so you have to be a little careful there. And really importantly, a histogram is a snapshot in time. It doesn't show you how your data changes over time. For that, you need a different tool, something like a control chart.
So there we have it. We've gone from a confusing cloud of numbers to a clear, actionable story, all thanks to the humble histogram. It just proves that raw data is just noise until you find the pattern within it. So I guess that leaves just one question for you. What story is your data waiting to tell?